I think we're going to have a lot of weeks of Bill being able to poke at Andre, unfortunately for Andre. But yeah, the show really wants to make us feel sorry for Andre. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here to talk about today's Friday episode. A solid end to our good week of the show this week. They had the Eva needing a liver donor storyline going throughout this whole week. The cat having to make a decision to even test in the first place. Will she be able to be the donor with everybody pressuring her? Lots of drama this week, which is something this show has been missing most of the year, is drama for being a daytime drama. So it was nice to have a full week of solid drama. We started today with Leslie and Ted still at Eva's side, saying that Eva is getting weaker. The doctors did say that she needed 24 hours to get a liver, and they still had not found a match. Ted was hoping that Kat would be a match. Meanwhile, Leslie upset that Kat took so long to make up her mind in the first place. And of course, in typical Leslie style, starts her little rant on Kat. At least Ted cut her off, saying that Kat deserves time. This is a big decision that Kat does have to make. Ted's done a good job, a much better job than usual, sticking up for Kat for one, but also just kind of stopping Leslie from being annoying. Usually Ted just lets Leslie do anything, so that's been a nice change to see. Chelsea was at the hospital thinking Izaiah should go home and get some rest, but he's talking about how he doesn't want to leave Eva. Martin and Nicole were talking about how Kat was not wanting to test. Martin happy that she's at least testing for blood now. Martin, he was really harsh on his sister earlier this week. Another thing that's been nice, much like Ted being able to call Leslie out on some of her shit, Nicole actually really being there for her daughter and being more motherly and less cold with Kat all week has been nice, because today Nicole was the one trying to get everybody to just give Kat some space. Nicole says that if Kat is a match, she doesn't have to go through with it. And Martin says Kat won't forgive herself if she doesn't go through with it and then Eva dies. Ted then came back in to say that Kat is gone, but at least she did take the test first. And Martin is wondering if Kat didn't want to know the results. Nicole then continued to try and make everyone give Kat some space. Don't text her, don't call her. Let Kat make this decision on her own. Izaiah was getting huffy, wanting Kat back because if she's a match, she needs to be here to do the surgery. That's when Darlene Hawthorne arrived to be there for Izaiah. Darlene says that when Izaiah opens up to a person, there isn't a single thing he won't do for that person. I don't know if Izaiah has been doing anything other than huff and puff these past couple of episodes, but I have appreciated Izaiah in this storyline, and I do feel like it's been good for the Izaiah and Eva relationship to show us just how much Izaiah does care about Eva. The other Hawthorne started the episode at work, Jacob and Elon talking about Izaiah. Jacob telling his father that Izaiah spent the night at the hospital because Eva might not make it. All of the Hawthornes that are at least on this show did end up showing up at the hospital. We still don't know or see that other Hawthorne brother. But Elon eventually came with Jacob too, which I'll get back to because my notes are kind of all over the place with today's episode. There was a lot of different things going on with different people. We had Leslie still complaining about Kat, saying how she's probably skipping town. This is her revenge on Eva. And then at first they got a liver match from the registry. That's what the doctors told Ted, and Ted was telling everyone the good news. So Izaiah and the Hawthornes were happy to hear this. Izaiah happy that the woman he loves is going to have a future. That's when Darlene went in to talk to Leslie, trying to tell Leslie that they actually do have something in common. Leslie loves her daughter as much as Darlene loves her sons. But after that, that's when the doctor had bad news. The liver that was a match was given to another patient. That's when Leslie went off on the doctor. Very over the top going off on the doctor today. Leslie was saying that she would pay the doctor any money. Ted saying this is something that money can't fix. I mean, definitely fucked up of the registry to tell this hospital that they have a match and then, oops, it was actually given to somebody else. I don't really know how all that works. I assume the registry has to deal between different hospitals. Maybe the other hospital had precedence over Eva here. Maybe that person had been waiting longer. I don't know how it all works, but the writing was a little wonky here. I guess they just wanted to show us that, oh, look, there is hope for Leslie and Ted and Eva, and then take it away again. After all of this, Leslie was throwing a pity party for herself to Ted, saying that nothing ever comes easy to her and Eva. They always have to fight for everything. Izaiah was upset about all of this, that they got their hopes up and now it was taken away, saying it's unfair. That's when Elon showed up for his son. Izaiah saying that his dad can't help unless he's a perfect match for Eva, but Jacob tried to calm Izaiah down, saying that dad is trying with him, and Elon, for I'm assuming one of the first times, told his son Izaiah that he is proud of him. This was an episode that Elon and Izaiah made some good progress on with their strained relationship. In the watch-along chat today, people bringing up the good point that Izaiah actually has more in common with Kat than he thinks. Kat is holding this grudge against Eva and Leslie. Meanwhile, Izaiah has been holding this grudge with his own father for so long. But they did have a good moment today, actually a few of them. Kat, meanwhile, unfortunately ran away to be with Tomas. Don't know why we needed a Tomas appearance, but we got one. She was talking about how she doesn't know how she's going to tell Ted that she can't be the donor. That is when Kat got a call with her test results, which we will get back to. Anita and Vernon started today's episode on a bit of a humorous note because they were looking out across the street. Anita was looking at the fact that Leslie's house had been destroyed and how that was some karma. Vernon thinks that Leslie will rebuild the house, the sequel one day, and Vernon will reach out to help neighbors and all of that. Even if they have to reach out to Leslie, they would. Vernon trying to be the bigger person with Leslie again. Let's get back to this, actually, because I do need to talk about the Hayley, Bill, Dani, Andre stuff today, too. Hayley arrived at Bill's office, who is surprised that she doesn't have coffee today. Hayley is very annoyed that they can't go home and that the crews are still working to clear trees or whatever that hurt their house. Bill is asking why she's had a change of heart about staying at the hotel this time because she liked it last time. But Hayley really, really wants her things back. Doc Backhand in the live chat during the watch long today pointed out to me that her poison might be at home, and that's why she is so adamant that the cops got to let them into the home because she has to start poisoning Bill again because her stash of poison is still at home. Hayley was calling someone frantically needing help. It was Randy. She was complaining that Randy was not answering his phone. Naomi ended up walking in, hearing Hayley complaining and frustrated on the phone. Hayley made up this lie about she's just so down about Derek's death and doesn't have anyone to talk to about it because I guess back when Hayley was friends with Naomi, she used to hang out with Naomi, Jacob, Ashley, and Derek sometimes. We did have some scenes early on with Hayley and Derek when I thought they actually had some chemistry. So it did make me laugh that that was Hayley's excuse today. Naomi seems to be trying to befriend Hayley again. Hayley not ready for a chat today, but said she would reach out to Naomi another time. I feel like they are trying to put Naomi back in Hayley's storyline so that she could be a part of Hayley's downfall whenever that may come. Because I do think Naomi needs to be in that storyline. I don't know why Naomi was taken out of that storyline in the first place. And Naomi's the one that knows some of Hayley's secrets with her fake pregnancy and all of that she has still told nobody about, which is very a convenient plot point. Dani, on the other hand, arrived at the hospital with Andre, who was still there with the family. Bill and Dani ended up running into each other at the hospital in front of the hospital elevator door so that Bill could make a comment that they have to stop meeting there. She said, "Wipe that smirk off your face and don't say anything." But Bill ran into Andre and said there was something he wants to tell Andre and that it's about Dani. Now, Chelsea interrupted them at first before Bill could say what he wanted to say, kind of ruining Bill's fun poking at Andre. Bill, with this conversation with Chelsea, learned that Eva was injured and needed a liver. When Chelsea walked away, Andre asked Bill what he had to say about Dani. And Bill was saying when he was trapped during the tornado, he thought about Dani and how deeply he hurt Dani, and that he doesn't want Dani hurt again. Andre said that unlike Bill, he is not a manipulative serial cheater, so he won't hurt Dani. But that's when Bill was able to drop a hint and poke at Andre and say it would be a shame if another one of Dani's marriages was wrecked by infidelity again. That was Bill's hint that Dani is the one being unfaithful, but doing it in a way to say, well, Andre, you better not be unfaithful to Dani. I think we're going to have a lot of weeks of Bill being able to poke at Andre, unfortunately for Andre. But yeah, the show really, really wants to make us feel sorry for Andre. So Dani arrived at Anita and Vernon's after all of this, letting them know for the first time that Eva's in the hospital and needs a liver transplant. And that's when Kat showed up there to let all three of them know that she is a match. And she tells Anita that this would be easier if this went another way, and everyone will expect her to do the right thing now and have the surgery. But Kat says she doesn't have to do this. And Anita says that if Kat says no and Eva dies, she will carry the burden for the rest of her life, that she could have done something. Anita was able to relate this back to how Anita feels guilty over Barbara's death, not being there for Barbara, kind of having a hand in Barbara's depression and eventually killing herself. She doesn't want that for Kat. Kat went on a rant, and rightfully so, saying that Eva and Leslie have taken so much already. How is it fair that she is the match and now she has to give back to them? All week long, the show has done a good job of giving us Kat's point of view, where she has made many good points all week as to why she doesn't have to do this, or maybe even shouldn't do this. And I do think the writing has done well with doing that. So Kat arrived at the hospital wanting to talk to Ted, walked in on Ted and Leslie together at Eva's side. They wanted to know if Kat is a match, and she said that she is, and that she has made a decision. She will do the surgery. Leslie hugged her and thanked her, and I don't think Kat enjoyed that hug, but Leslie is going to have her theatrics, and that's what this was again. Although obviously I do think Leslie is thankful, but how long will Leslie really be thankful before she's being annoying again? Because she's been annoying throughout this whole process still. So it's really only a matter of time before the writers annoy us with Leslie again, who never has to pay for anything. And like a lot of you have been saying in the comments, it would have been nice if Kat would have held this over Leslie's head of like, hey, you should admit to your crimes with Laura. Like, I do think a lot of the audience would have liked that if Kat were to hang this over Leslie's head, even if it would have been people in her family judging Kat on that. I think that would have been a nice twist to the story, because at some point this show has to make its villains pay for something. This show hates making its villains pay for anything. They drag it on way too long, and honestly it hurts the payoffs to stories with them doing this. When Ted and Leslie left the room, Kat did tell an unconscious Eva that she is welcome, that she's doing this. And then Dani, meanwhile, is hoping that Kat is doing this because she wants to and not because of Ted's reaction. Dani has always kind of thought like Kat, so I do like that Dani was the one with that line. Leslie thanks Izaiah for loving her baby like he does, and that's when Elon and a worried, emotional Izaiah had a hug. So once again, another good father-son scene between them. At the end, Kat was surrounded by family members, Martin, who was proud of Kat for doing the epitome of selflessness, which is something she never thought she would hear. And when everyone left, she wanted to talk to her father alone, where Kat told Ted that this is for him. It's not for Eva or Leslie. She is doing this for him. This was a good full circle moment for earlier in the week when Ted kind of begged Kat to do this for him, not for Eva, do it for him. And that is what Kat is doing here. I do feel like this whole ordeal has been good for the Kat and Ted father-daughter relationship. I think something the show has done a good job of is showing that in a time of need, in the darkest of times, is unfortunately when families actually come together and grow stronger, where in everyday life, sometimes we can drift apart from that kind of thought process. But in times like these, you want to do the right thing for your family members. We see that with Elon and Izaiah. We see that with Kat and Ted. Even Nicole and Kat has had a better relationship through all of this. So yes, I think it was a good week. Kat comes through in the end. The preview looks like it could be bad for Kat with this surgery, though. So hopefully there is still some high drama next week. I will give my thoughts on the preview on Sunday, like I always do. Thank you all for joining me this week on what has been one of the best weeks of this show in quite a while, in my opinion. I really do hope they can keep the momentum on next week, although there is more Ashley and Grayson in the previews next week, which I have enjoyed the break from. That will probably hinder things, but let's not think about that until next week.